Ever wonder about those little letters at the start of a website address, www and HTTP? They're not just random, they're the foundation of the World Wide Web, connecting billions of people and ideas. The web is our library, movie theater, classroom, and post office, all in one. And it all works because computers follow a universal set of rules starting with www and HTTP. Understanding these is like getting a backstage pass to the internet. So let's peel back the layers, meet the inventor, and decode these letters that changed humanity forever. Let's get started. Before the explosion of websites, social media, and streaming services that define the internet today, it existed in a very different form. It was a tool primarily for experts, researchers, and academics. The internet's early days were characterized by a stark simplicity, a far cry from the visually rich and user-friendly experience we've come to expect. There were no pictures, no interactive graphics, and certainly no easy browsing. Forget scrolling through endless feeds of images and videos, it was just text and commands. Navigating this digital landscape required a deep understanding of complex systems and a willingness to learn arcane syntax. Born in the 1960s as ARPANET, an acronym for Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, it initially connected a handful of massive room-sized computers, primarily for research and military use. These machines, hulking behemoths of vacuum tubes and transistors, were the pioneers of the digital age. Email, in its nascent form, was a revolutionary development. It allowed researchers to exchange messages and share information across vast distances, a significant leap forward in communication. But everything was scattered and incredibly hard to find. Information was siloed, disorganized, and lacked any semblance of a central index or directory. You needed to know special commands, specific incantations of code, just to access basic data. Finding what you needed was like navigating a vast library with no signs, no card catalog, and no helpful librarians. As more computers joined the network, the chaos grew exponentially. The lack of standardization and organization made it increasingly difficult to manage the ever-expanding sea of information. There was no simple way to jump from one piece of information to another, no intuitive way to explore the connections between different ideas. The dream was a system where you could effortlessly click from idea to idea, seamlessly traversing the digital landscape with ease and intuition. A network where knowledge was interconnected and readily accessible. That dream, that vision of interconnected knowledge, was the seed for the World Wide Web, the foundation upon which the modern internet was built. People, the pioneers of the digital frontier, knew there had to be a better way to organize and access the vast amounts of information being generated. Science, the relentless pursuit of knowledge and innovation, driven by the desire to connect, to share, and to unlock the full potential of this new digital realm. Let's jump ahead in time now, all the way to 1989. Our setting? CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, located in Switzerland. This wasn't just any laboratory, it was a hub of scientific exploration. A place where brilliant minds were pushing the boundaries of physics. But amidst the groundbreaking research, there was a growing problem: information overload. CERN was overflowing with data, reports, and documents. The challenge was not just generating this information, but also organizing it, accessing it, and sharing it effectively. Imagine a vast library with no cataloging system. That was the state of things. Confusion reigned, and the potential of the research was being hampered by the difficulty of managing its output. Enter British scientist Tim Berners-Lee. He was a computer scientist working at CERN, and he saw the chaos firsthand. He recognized the immense potential locked within the sea of unorganized data, and he imagined a solution, a way to connect all of this information, to create a universal web of linked knowledge. He envisioned a system where researchers could easily access and share their findings, regardless of where they were located or what type of computer they were using. His core idea was something called hypertext. This innovative concept would allow users to seamlessly jump from one document to another with a simple click, regardless of where that document was located, even if it was on a computer halfway around the world. It was a revolutionary idea that would break down the barriers to information access. He pitched his idea to his boss. The concept was admittedly vague at this stage, but the potential was undeniably exciting. It was a vision of a future where information flowed freely, and knowledge was easily accessible to all. But Tim didn't give up easily. He was convinced that his idea could transform the way people worked and learned. He was driven by a powerful vision, to revolutionize how people share and find knowledge, to create a global platform for collaboration and innovation. He believed that access to information was a fundamental right, and he was determined to make that right a reality. So, working mostly alone, often late into the night, he began to build the tools he needed to bring his vision to life. He created the first web browser and editor, the software that would allow people to view and create hypertext documents. And he invented HTML, the hypertext markup language, HTTP, the hypertext transfer protocol, and URLs, the uniform resource locators. These weren't just random letters and abbreviations, they were the fundamental building blocks, the very foundation of a new digital world that he was constructing. Tim's vision was clear, a shared space for knowledge, a global repository of information, accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world, regardless of their background or technical expertise. He wasn't just organizing files and streamlining data management, he was building a new way for humanity to connect, to collaborate, and to learn from each other. It was a bold vision, a brilliant concept, and it was about to change everything we know about communication, information, and the world itself. The World Wide Web, as we know it, was about to be born, and the world would never be the same. Imagine a world before the internet as we know it. A world without instant access to information, without social media, without online shopping. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? But that world existed not so long ago. In December 1990, a pivotal moment occurred that would forever change the course of human history. At CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist, was about to unleash something extraordinary. Working diligently, at his next computer he prepared to launch the very first website, a project born from his desire to simplify information sharing among researchers. The initial website was remarkably simple in its design. It was primarily text-based, devoid of the flashy graphics and interactive elements we've come to expect today. The content was straightforward, just text explaining the core concepts of the World Wide Web, its purpose, and instructions on how to navigate and utilize this new information system. But beneath its unassuming appearance lay a foundation of groundbreaking innovation. It introduced three revolutionary inventions, the cornerstones upon which the entire modern internet is built. These weren't just incremental improvements, they were paradigm shifts in how information could be accessed and shared. First, HTML, or hypertext markup language, provided a standardized way of structuring web pages. It defined how text, images, and other elements should be organized and displayed within a browser, creating a consistent and visually appealing experience for users. Second, URLs, or uniform resource locators, provided a unique address for every resource on the web. This allowed users to easily locate and access specific web pages, images, or files, much like a street address allows you to find a particular building. And third, HTTP, or hypertext transfer protocol, established a standardized protocol for communication between web browsers and servers. This protocol defined how requests for information should be made and how responses should be delivered, ensuring seamless data transfer across the network. So what was the address of this pioneering site, the very first location in this vast new digital landscape? It was simple and direct, http://info.cern.ch. A humble beginning for what would become a ubiquitous part of modern life. But the real magic wasn't just in the code or the protocols, it was in the user experience, the intuitive way people could interact with this new medium. The magic lay in those blue clickable hyperlinks. These links were more than just text, they were portals, gateways to other pages and resources. With a simple click of a mouse you could jump from page to page, exploring a network of interconnected information. This seamless navigation gave rise to a new concept, surfing the web. It was an apt description, capturing the feeling of gliding across a vast ocean of information, discovering new and exciting things along the way. Initially, access to this new web was limited. It was primarily used by a small community of scientists and researchers who saw its potential for collaboration and knowledge sharing. But the underlying idea, the power of interconnected information, was simply too compelling to remain confined to a niche audience. The seed had been planted, and it was only a matter of time before it sprouted and grew. The year 1993 marked a turning point. CERN, in a move that would have profound implications, made the web's software and underlying code freely available for anyone to use without licensing fees or restrictions. This act of open-source generosity unleashed a wave of innovation and creativity, sparking explosive growth that no one could have fully predicted. The number of websites ballooned from a single pioneering site to hundreds, then thousands, then millions, and eventually billions. It was a truly exponential expansion. The web rapidly transformed into a vast and complex universe, a digital realm teeming with information, entertainment, and opportunities, and it all began from that single point, that initial website, radiating outwards like the afterglow of a cosmic event. The foundation of this incredible expansion was a simple open system built on the principles of collaboration and shared knowledge, and with that, the digital Big Bang had begun, forever changing the world and ushering in a new era of interconnectedness. So, what's with the WW at the start of web addresses? It stands for World Wide Web, a way to label computers serving web content. Early on, WW told you this was the main website, not email or file servers. But here's the twist. W is just a convention, not a requirement. Today, most sites work with or without it. It's more about tradition and branding. Many new sites drop it for a cleaner look. Still, WW is a digital fossil, a reminder of the web's early days. It's a signpost from when the web was just one of many internet services. Now about those other letters, HTTP, it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, the rules that let your browser and web servers talk. Think of it like ordering a pizza. Your browser asks for a page, the server delivers it. Every time you click a link, you're starting a new HTTP conversation. Your browser sends a request, the server responds with the page, or an error if it can't find it. Without HTTP, the web wouldn't work. It's the invisible messenger, carrying text, images, and videos across the globe in a flash. HTTP is the engine of the web, making browsing possible. Every click is a handshake between your computer and the world. Simple rules, global impact. Notice websites starting with HTTPS? That S stands for secure. HTTPS encrypts your data, protecting it from hackers and eavesdroppers. With regular HTTP, anyone could read what you send, like sending a postcard. HTTPS scrambles your info, so only the right server can read it. Look for the padlock icon or HTTPS// in your browser. It means your connection is safe. Today, HTTPS is the standard, especially for shopping, banking, or logging in. Browsers and search engines now favor secure sites. That S is your digital security guard. Always check for it before sharing sensitive info. HTTP isn't the only protocol on the internet. You might see Mail To links, they open your email program to send a message, or FTP links, used for transferring files, especially by web developers. There's also Telnet for logging into remote computers, and File for opening local files. Each prefix tells your computer which tool to use. The internet is a city of services. The web is just its busiest neighborhood. These protocols show how versatile the internet really is. The web's just one part of a much bigger digital world. From a memo at CERN to a global network, the web's journey is built on WWW, HTTP, and HTTPS. These aren't just tech terms, they're the foundation of our digital world. WWW is a nod to the web's origins. HTTP and HTTPS are the engines that make it work and keep it safe. Every click relies on rules invented by Tim Berners-Lee over 30 years ago. The web has become essential to our lives, society, and economy. Next time you type a web address, remember, those letters are keys to a universe of possibility. The World Wide Web is one of humanity's greatest achievements, and it all starts with a few simple letters.